Hi there, thanks for joining us. In this Repricer video, we're going to introduce you to sales rules. With most repricing software, you can only compete against your competitors. Not with Repricer, where you can use your sales or your orders to determine how you're going to compete. Not only is this a must-have feature if you're a white label seller and the only one selling your product, it's also useful if you want to avoid competing directly with any competitors. So let's get started. Go to Repricing Rules on the left-hand side of your screen, and then from here we're going to add a new rule. Go to Create a Repricer and go to Amazon Sales Rule. You can choose from one of our pre-built templates, or you can create your own rule from scratch. Let's create one from scratch to show you the ropes. Here we are on the Sales Rules screen. At this point, we need to make an important decision. Do we want to use the Velocity Sales Rule or the Volume Sales Rule? With a Velocity Rule, you're going to compare your sales between two periods of time. For example, your sales have increased by 20% or decreased by 10%. While a volume rule allows you to set a specific number of orders or sales you'll have made. For example, you'll have made 10 orders in the past 7 days or made £200 in the past 14 days. In this video, we're going to focus on the velocity rule. We have another video on the volume rule if you'd like to look at that. I'll include a link in the description and on the screen now. So the velocity rule is split into two sections. You have the if my orders have grown and the if my orders have declined sections. These sections allow you to group how your rule will behave whenever your sales have increased or decreased. Let's start by looking at adding a velocity range. First, we have the values to determine how your sales have already gone. For example, your sales over the past 5 days have grown by more than 20%. How this works is it compares your sales over the past 5 days to the previous 5 days. If you set 7 days, it would compare to the previous 7 days. It's that simple. Just a quick note that for any of these ranges to trigger, your product must have been in stock for at least that period of time. In this case, 5 days. In the second section, we then determine what happens if this is the case. You can increase or decrease your price by a value or an amount. Again, for example, increase your price by 15%. So let's run through that full scenario from the top. If our sales have grown over the past 5 days by more than 20%, we'll increase our price by 15%. At this stage, you can add more ranges to cover more scenarios. The behavior of the rule is exactly the same in the declined section. You just need to determine by how much your sales have declined for those ranges. Once you've added your various ranges, you just need to scroll down and we'll have a look at our settings section. So you can fine-tune your sales rules, we've added a number of setting controls that you can also use. Let's take a quick look at each. Our first setting determines what data your rule is going to use to trigger. By default, your sales rule will look at the money made from your orders. Using this setting, you can change this to look at the number of orders made. So instead of looking at £100, you're looking at 10 orders. In our custom timings, you have two options available to you. The first is to determine how often your sales rule is going to run. You can set it to run as often as every 2 hours or as infrequently as every 3 days. Our next setting allows you to stop your product from triggering too often. You can set up your rule so any products that are triggered will not be allowed to trigger again for a set number of days. By using this setting, you ensure any changes that have been made by the previous run of your rule have a chance to bed in. The final option we have is psychological pricing. We're all well aware of the power of having 99 cents at the end of your price. What psychological pricing allows you to do is to tag all prices generated by this rule to your desired psychological price point. You can use any of the numbers ending in 9. Most commonly, I imagine you'll want to use 49 cents or 99 cents. Before we move on, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page on how this applies. Your rule will automatically move your product to the closest price point in the direction your price is moving. So if your price is increasing, it'll go up, or if it's decreasing, it'll go down to the next. I've put a couple of examples on screen just to help explain. So that's our sales rule, and I'm sure you can already see the power in it. At this stage, you have two options in how to trigger the sales rule. You can either add it to one of your existing Amazon repricing rules, or you can apply it to one of your products directly. This video is already getting a little long, so what I'll do is I'll set up another video on the channel that'll show you how to apply your sales rule either on the product level or on the rule level. I'll include the link in the description, and you should probably see a link on screen now. If you haven't already started your trial with Repricer.com, sign up today for free for 14 days, or why not book a demo with one of our helpful team. Thanks for joining us today, and have a great day.